Well, howdy, folks. Welcome to the Clock in the Gallop preview of racing today on this Tuesday, the 5th of July. We're racing out at Turffontein today in the Joburg City, and it is on the inside track where there are 8 races carded, and the first of the day is off at 12:30. I've got my race card with me. I'm flying solo today. I've spoken to Neil Andrews about the card as well, after Neil tipped a nice price booster horse for you yesterday. Ragnar Lothbrok won the last race yesterday at good odds, so well done to Neil. And may it continue. We're going to run through the changes. I'll take you through our assessment of the 8 races today. The track condition is good. The penetrometer is at 20. The false rail is 6 meters out on the back straight, going up to 10.5 meters out on the bend, with a 10.5 meter spur at the 500 meter marker. They've had 8 millimeters of irrigation on the track in the last 7 days, but no rainfall. And the maximum temperature in Joburg today is a very, very promising 20 degrees centigrade. So all in place for a lovely day of racing. We're going to take you to the betting, and then I will also read out the changes as at 8:30 on a Tuesday morning. So let's go first of all to the betting here and have a look at it for the first race of the day, which is a Work Riders maiden plate over 1,200 meters. You can scratch horses 3 Carnello and 6 Godfather. Those horses are out of the first race. Number 7 Harcourt will have blinkers on today. And number 5, Gregor McGregor, is a gelding. He makes his debut today, does number 5, Gregor McGregor. Well, there you can see the betting. The first timer, number 8, Iron Fist, is a son of Flying the Flag. It's a first foal of the mare Velvet Glove. Now, Velvet Glove, the mother, was a full sister to Prince of Cahal, who was a very, very good sprinter. So certainly has got sprinting in his pedigree, does Iron Fist. He jumps from a 1 draw as a very good work ride in Penicillin Monkawa aboard. But we're going to have to see whether there'll be further support in what he looks like today. The sire of Iron Fist is a sire called Flying the Flag, who's had 10 runners as 2-year-olds this season and has scored 2 wins. So not the worst stats in the world. But Great Times did improve dramatically with Clinton Simpson aboard last time out. It was his first run since being gelded, and he obviously represents the horse on form to beat. So if Iron Fist is going to be decent, he's going to have to beat number 1 Great Times. That's the way that we saw that race. It looked like 1 from 8. If 8 was very good and if there was a follow through, then we'd believe that 8 would probably be the right one there. Just one other comment, and that is about number 4, Going Global. Now, this horse has been gelded, and I bring up the fact that it's 20-1, but the mother won 4 times Kumiko. But gelding certainly does improve horses, and significantly. Now, this horse was tried 1,400 meters the first 2 runs, dropped down to 1,200 meter, and I'm expecting improvement from the 4 Going Global, who's been gelded. So maybe use that one in your bets later today. We're going to move on to race number 2 now. And race 2 is the start of the place accumulator. It's a maiden plate fillies and mares over 1,200 meters. In the second race of the day, number 4, Gatana, Alamites in front, Unshot behind. And you can put a tongue tie on number 6, Inventrix now. That's an important change that was done earlier on this morning. Number 6, Inventrix, does wear a tongue tie in the second race, and that is the horse that we're going to go for from a bang form Fani Bronco stable, with July winning rider Simunga Khumalo aboard from a 3 draw. Looks like on its last run that she's got a bit more to come. So Inventrix, who's been backed from 3-1 into 22-10, is our selection to win here. From number 1, Simply Magic and Craig Zaki, who believe will be right on the premises. The 8, Mrs. Browning's an interesting first-timer because she is the full sister to Aragosta, who I tipped to win the July. But one would think it's too short for Mrs. Browning, so watch out for any support there. And then number 9, Outlaw, is a daughter of Jackson, but we think there's a bit to find on number 6, Inventrix, on their runs in the maiden juvenile races. So we're going 6 from 1 in race number 2. Third race of the day starts off the pick 6 at 20-2. It's a novice handicap over 1450. Just to quickly explain to those people what that means. It means that horses in this race all can only have won one race. So if they won two, they're not eligible. If they haven't won, they're not eligible. They have to have had one win, and then they weighted according to their merit rating, with the highest merit rating getting the most weight, and downwards in a handicap format. Now, in the third race, number 7, 3 Hearts, has a tongue tie fitted, and that's the only change here. And the betting would suggest that Toffers is the horse to beat, from 4-1 to 5-2. They're betting 4-1 Java House number 9, 5-1 Kotinos number 2, and then 6-1 number 1 Full House, and 8-1 number 8 Manhattan. We find this particularly tough. In fact, this is a very, very tough leg. Now, whilst Toffers, people go on about the form line, and the form line's excellent and so forth. Well, the form line is worked out because it was a maiden form line. So horses behind it have won maidens. It's going into a novice handicap now, up against winners. And I don't think there's any value in the price at all. 5-2. DeMello rides from a 5 draw, but I think others are ones to focus in on here. Neil likes number 1 Full House, and I can see why he does like it. It is a jockey strike. It's moved over to Gavin Larena. Joey Sohm has been using Gavin Larena a few times now, after not using him for a long, long while. So obviously they've kissed and made up, and Gavin Larena rides Full House. And I think that's a runner, has to be a runner, even though it's carrying 60 kilos. Seems to be doing pretty well, does Full House, and has been with the Soma yard since the end of last year. So it's had 2 runs since then, and has definitely got a chance. Now, our beloved Kotinos, who we always tip on this show, has pierced straight in from an 8 draw. That doesn't augur well, but it does run well at this track. It's run once here and did run particularly well. So we'll never leave Kotinos out, but it isn't our first choice today. Further down, number 9, Java House, is probably, for me, the horse to beat. They've taken the cheek pieces off from last time out. Comes in with just 51 kilograms and is getting a lot of weight from everyone else. Now, hasn't won in 747 days. That's against it, but does get Caden Brewer on for the very first time and is drawn at 1. So Java House can't be left out of calculations because she is very, very consistent. Just above it in the betting is Manhattan. Just above it rather than the race card is Manhattan, who won a good race after a lengthy layoff last time out, and could also be on the premises. And one more I wanted to mention was number 4, Just a Memory, from the St. John Gray stable. I think this horse is better than its last start. 14.50 may not be its game, but don't let that one run loose at 14-1, number 4, Just a Memory. This we find tough. We'll play this wide in the pick sixes and the place accumulators. Let's move on to race 4 at 2:15. It's a merit rated 84 handicap over 1,500 meters. And in race 4, there are no changes to report over here, unless there are any late changes. And I'll continuously update this to see whether there are any late changes. I don't see any changes, though, in the 4th race. Once again, it's a tough contest. Let's look at the betting first and see what that shows us. Right down at the bottom, Call Me Master, who's won the last 2 races, goes for 3 in a row, again with Muzieni aboard at 9-2. That is a very weak first choice in the market, ahead of number 3, Roha, at 11-2, 7, Sage King at 6-1, 2, Razor Hallelujah, and 5, Fisher King at 7-1, and then number 6, Let's Do It, and number 4, Suited Connect at 8-1. Now, several of them come into this race with chances. Call Me Master carries bottom weight, but was raised a good 6 points after his last win over In Cahoots. That was up the Val straight. Goes back around the turn today, and would definitely have to have big claims. Now, 2 horses that represent big value in this race are numbers 9, Rock of Africa, and number 10, Bay Suye. Let me talk about the horse 10 first. Excuse me. Not the best draw, but I called this horse when it had its very first run in Joburg, and it ran on the inside track. And I think this horse likes this course. Has run twice here. Is at 16-1 from a bad draw, but I expect it to be running on number 10, Bay Suye. Likewise, Rock of Africa, who's coming from a lengthy layoff. Last run against Suited Connector. Both of them would have to have a chance on their last run. That was up the straight at the Val, but both of them, I think, would do pretty well at this course. So that brings Rock of Africa and Suited Connector, number 4, into the race. I think both have chances. Outside of those, I'm not particularly big on Roha. I prefer others today. I think that weight of 60.5 kilos is quite a bit of pudding for her to shoulder. What else? Fisher King with Pierce Stratham hasn't got the best of draws, but has to be popped in for good measure. And so too does probably number 7, Sage King, with Diego de Gouveia riding it last time out as well. Was reported to have crop abuse last time out. So it is having the second run after arrest is Sage King. I think Call Me Master will go close, but I'm certainly holding out for those 16-1 chances. Both numbers 9, Rock of Africa, and 10, Base. Yeah, I think they're well priced here. Let's Do It is another one that I think isn't out of it on best form. I know that Stephen Moffat fancied him last time up when he won at 20-1 and he beat Java House. And I think with just 56 kilograms, he's certainly competitive. So this race, we're playing it wide again. Race 4. If I had to tip them, I'd probably narrowly go for Call Me Master to win again, but I definitely like both 9 and 10, 6 with a chance, 4 with a chance, and 5 with a chance to not an easy contest. Moving on to race number 5, and that is a merit-rated 78 handicap at 10-3. It's over 2,600 meters. Scratched in this race is rule book. You can take out number 2 rule book. And number 1, Flying First Class, and number 4, Go Dream Machine. Both David Nevenhuizen runners have compression masks on, and number 8, Kissed by Fire, has Alamites in front and races unshod behind. Well, as the betting suggests, it looks like a 2-horse race between number 5, Lamborghini, who goes for 3 in a row, and number 1, Flying First Class. The big thing is that Flying First Class has to concede 7 kilograms to Lamborghini, and is that enough for Lamborghini to get past Flying First Class? I would think it is. Lamborghini has certainly upped his game after looking distinctly moderate in his first few outings. He seems to have come into his own. Muzieni gets the ride for the first time, but I think it's a race in 2, and I can't decide really between the two of them. They're much of a muchness with the weight allowance that Lamborghini gets, but I think Flying First Class has shown that she's very, very capable, even with the 60 kilos. So 1 and 5 double up there, hopefully, and everything, because 1 and 5 look like they'll fight it out. On move to race number 6, and this is a fillies and mares 72 divided handicap. It's over 1,800 meters. Here you can scratch number 3, Senescence is out. Number 9, Consul Queen, a late update, will have blinkers on. So blinkers go on number 8, Consul Queen here. Right, let's go and have a look at what we think. So scratched by the way 2 is also scratched Defender of Rights, and 3 Senescence. So those are the 2 scratchings in race 6. Well, Let There Be Light won a very good race last time out, and Gavin Lorena gets aboard again. Remember now that because of that win, her weight has been hiked up to 61.5 kilograms, and her merit rating is up 3 points from 72 to 75. So she does carry a bit of pudding today, 61.5 kilos. But I think that she'll be on the premises again. Will the 2-1 chance number 1, Let There Be Light? We did fancy her last time out, and I think she'll be right there too. The horse that is at 14-10, which offers no value, is Dark Travel. That's the favorite, but I think it's very consistent, and I think she runs on really nicely. And then last year, while she may have run 10.5 lengths behind Let There Be Light last time out, and has a bit of a weight turnaround, I don't think that was last year's best performance, and I'm expecting her to run better. There's been marked betting support for number 8, Mirren, I suppose, because of the booking of Samanga Kamalo here, and the money's come from 14-1 to 6-1 on number 8, Mirren, but I think it's going to need something else other than Samanga Kamalo, who has only ridden it once and rode it to a 12th position behind Mazzari. Neil, I know, fancies a bit of Mirren. I made it a race in 3 between 1, Let There Be Light, 4 last year, and 5, Dark Travel. And I think the winner will come from one of those. There's not really much else to mention there. On a move to race 7, off at 5-4. This is a fillies and mares 89 divided handicap, and there are 2 scratchings here. Number 6, Terror Time, and the late scratching of number 12, Sunbird, who I quite liked a bit of it, 33-1. I thought she had a chance on some collateral form lines. Also in race 7, number 2, Lady Amherst races with a Cornell collar and no blinkers. Take the blinkers off number 5, Victoria Page. Right, looking at the betting, it's 33-10 each of number 11, Kind Judy, and number 7, Franklin, 7-2, number 8, Belvard, then 7-1, number 9, Cherengorma, and number 3, Bureau de Legendre is at 8-1, and they're double figures about the others. By the way, the big news for me in this race is that number 1, Rouge Allure, has her 100th run today. What a day it'll be for owner Albert Rapp and partner Mickey Goss and the Summerhill Stud, with trainer Steve Moffat and Gavin Lorena. Win, lose or draw, Rouge Allure has been a model of a racehorse, and she has her 100th run today. She's had 13 wins, as much as 30 places in her 99-run career to date. And wouldn't she be great in going out on a high? I think she'll be retired soon to stud. Will Rouge Allure, but she's out there at 14 to 1. I only mention it from a sentimental point of view, although I think it's very, very tough for her to win it over here. Let's go to the bottom of the weights, because that's where I want to focus my attention. As I said, I did like a bit of number 12 Sunbird at a big price. I thought it was a huge price, actually, 33 to 1, and I was going to suggest that for a place. But 11 Kind Judy has won 4 out of her last 5, gets a good draw, gets Muzzy Yeni aboard, everything going for her. She has to be on your short list. So too does Franklin, the joint favorite. Kelvin Habib rides from a good draw, and so too does number 8 Belvard, who almost beat Kind Judy last time out. If you look at the weight turnarounds, they're both down 6 kilos, so there shouldn't be much between the two of them again today, Belvard and Kind Judy. So 7, 8, and 11 are the top choices over here. Outside of those, I think Rouge Allure carrying too much weight. I don't really like Bureau de Legendre. I see there's been money for it. Victoria Page is interesting, but I think, again, she never runs 2 races the same. Can't really rely on her, and I don't really fancy Chirin Gorma either, even though she's coming off 52 kilos. I don't know whether she'll like this track, and she'll like a more galloping course. So we'll move on to the 8th and last race, which is over 25 past 4. It's a classified stakes over 1,800 meters. There are no scratchings, and in fact, there are no changes in the last race unless there are any late changes that come to hand, of which I see none. Now, we know in classified stakes races that fillies get an allowance. In this particular case, they get a 2.5 kilo allowance. That certainly brings a couple of the fillies into the race. There are 3 fillies. There are numbers 9 Cape Bouquet, 10 Astral Plain, and 11 Liverpool Legend. If you strictly go on it, the best priced horse out of the fillies is number 10 Astral Plain. Now, Neil and I had a bit of a chat about her this morning. We've been for her before, and she's nearly won for us when we price boosted her. She comes in with just 54 kilograms, so the lightest weighted horse of the fillies. And we think at 33 to 1, number 10 Astral Plain has to be included. She tends to go off to the front, but she's got a good draw, and she might well pop up over here at an absolutely massive price. The maiden number 13, Grand Escape, Samanga Kamala sticks with him. He hasn't got the best draw, but I think he's got a chance. Ming Shi, number 8, they put blinkers on today. Joshua and Solomon's rides. We liked it strongly last time out, but he just didn't stay on the closing stages. I think he'll like this track, will Ming Shi, and I think at 28 to 10, he deserves to be favourite. Maybe not that short, though. Outside of those, number 3, Catch the Green Light at 10 to 1 with Kelvin Habib. They've taken the pacifiers off. I think that'll go pretty well, even though it's a 3-year-old carrying 58 kilos. Number 6, Bitter Fun with Piers Stradham may be running on when the chips are down. And that, I think, is the short list over there for me. Possibly 8, Ming Shi, but don't rule out the chance of number 10, Astral Plain, despite a huge price of 33 to 1. Chloe and I will be back with the Take a Bet place accumulator for today, and then Neil will be back with a price booster on our website. You can look at www.clockingthegallop.com, and you can look on Instagram and also on Facebook for our Take a Bet and our price booster videos. Thanks very much for joining us today, racing on this Tuesday. It's been an absolute pleasure taking you through it after the Hollywood Bets Durban July. Big congratulations have to go again to Mike de Kock, who was so forthcoming in his interview with us. He didn't really nail his colours to the mast, but reading between the lines, he did have a good shot at winning the July. So congratulations go to him, to the stud that owns Sparkling Water, Fulker Vostriff stud, nominee Mrs. Mary Slack, to the jockey Samanga Kamala, and to everyone involved with Sparkling Water, from the de Kock side to Diane de Kock, to Elson Nzalana, and all the guys out at the Turffontein stables. Congratulations to you. Another good win in the Hollywood Bets Durban July. We'll be back tomorrow, Wednesday. There's racing down in KwaZulu-Natal at Greyville, so we'll be taking you through that card. Looking forward to bringing you the Ghost Rider selections then. But for the moment, it's cheerio from us. Have a good day's racing. Bye-bye.